I've been working on making a tutorial on how to free motion quilt on a domestic sewing machine, and I had some problems. The video that I made of myself actually quilting something didn't actually record because the camera ran out of batteries, and then I thought, oh, no problem, I can just quilt something else, but then I can't find my perfume bottle quilt right now. I wanted to make sure that I gave the tutorial on free motion quilting right away because I knew people were waiting for it. So I was getting really overwhelmed. But then I thought, if I'm getting overwhelmed, so will the people who are new to free motion quilting become overwhelmed, because it is a lot of information to put together all at once. And maybe what I should do is to break it down into different parts. That makes me feel better in making the videos, in that I can make short videos. I can make sure that I incorporate everything that you need to know. And it also gives you time to practice before you have to move on to the next step. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to break down the master class into different segments, into 5 different segments. And maybe at the end I can put them together in one master class for people who would prefer to have one class instead of different segments. My name is Shalina. Welcome to Quilt in Color, and I hope that you'll find this 5-part series helpful to you in learning how to free motion quilt on a domestic sewing machine. Let's get right into it. So the first step in learning how to free motion quilt doesn't even involve any fabric or thread, anything, or a sewing machine. Free motion quilting, the way I picture it, is basically doodling on fabric. And in order for you to be able to doodle on fabric, you need to learn how to doodle, period. And you might as well just do that on paper where it's easier. I have doodled my whole life. I've doodled ever since I was a child. And I doodle in meetings, I doodle in classrooms, I doodle on phone calls. I doodle pretty much whenever and wherever I'm at a desk or I have paper and pen. Quilting is doodling with thread, so you just need to learn to doodle. And so your lesson for this week is to just doodle. Every chance you get, doodle starting today, doodle for the rest of your life. One thing that I recommend that you do to help you with your free motion quilting skills is to doodle. Every chance you get, if you're on the phone, talking to somebody, in a meeting, trying to stay awake, or watching a video, I recommend that you just start putting pen or pencil to paper and just start doodling. Whatever you want to do, you just go ahead and just keep doodling. And it doesn't matter really how you do it. Just draw something. And it helps actually to not worry about what you're doing, just to let your hand do the thing without you thinking about it. Just let your hand decide what it is that it wants to do. Don't make it do any particular thing. Just keep going. And over time, you'll come up with a thing that is you. It's something that's easy for your hand to do, easy for your body to do, and that really should be what you should focus on. There are lots of good benefits on doodling. For me, when I'm doodling in classrooms and meetings, phone calls, things like that, it keeps me focused on the situation at hand, on what that person is saying. You may think that doodling is something that's distracting you from that person's conversation, but there have actually been studies that show that doodling helps you stay focused. It helps you stay focused because it keeps you from thinking about other things. You're not thinking about the laundry you have to do. You're not thinking about the grocery list. You're not thinking about the conversation you had right before the meeting started. It keeps you focused on that person the whole time. It also, for me, helps me be more patient with that person when they're saying something repetitive or saying something that is boring to me, in that I can just concentrate a little bit on the doodling, and then I can go back to that person. So I'm still listening to that person talk, but it just keeps me a little bit more patient in hearing them out in what they're saying. I've had some coworkers and some co-students, fellow students, who have been surprised when they saw me doodle, and they think that the instructor or the manager is going to get angry with me for doodling, but I've never actually been caught out for doodling in class. Usually I take some notes as the person's walking by. Even if they did, I have this study that's already available to me to show. There have actually been studies that show that doodling helps you concentrate better on what's being said. And another way that doodling is helpful is that you already have your pen and paper ready in front of you. If the presenter does say something that is worthy of writing down, you're already ready and you can just jot down the note, interrupt your doodling for just a second, jot down the note, and then go back to doodling. For me, doodling actually makes me more ready to write something down because there's not that friction. Okay, now I got to pick up the pen. Okay, so the lesson is not as simple as just doodling. So let's go over the next step. So your first step is just to doodle. Period. Just doodle as much as you can. Once you have a bunch of doodles ready, that helps you analyze. Then you can look at the doodle and see for yourself what kind of doodles you like to do. Do you like to make geometric designs? Are you drawing more free flowing designs? Are you squiggling? Are you okay with crossing over lines? Or are you making sure that you don't cross over lines? Are you drawing pictures? Whatever it is that you're doing, that should be your first quilting design, because that's you, right? It represents you. It's showing what you are capable of. So whatever you put onto your paper is probably what you want to translate into fabric when you actually quilt. Okay, so that step one is just doodling, period. Step two is to draw squares. Make boundaries for yourself. Squares or rectangles, make boundaries for yourself. So maybe on a sheet of paper you just draw a whole bunch of squares or rectangles and then doodle again, but this time stay within the square because you want to learn how to go around, how to maneuver around your quilt. You want to be able to know, okay, now I'm heading to a corner, how do I get out of this corner? And so that learning how to do it on paper will help you figure out how to do it on fabric. So just learn how to stay within those lines within the quilt. Now it's okay if you go over, but you want to make sure that your main doodle that you want to show, like on a quilt, it's fine if you go over, right? Because you're just going to wind up going into the batting, which will be fine, but it's not going to show because you're going to trim off that part. So you want to keep your main design onto the square. So the important thing is not that you don't get out of the line. It's fine if you get out of the line. In fact, it's probably better that you get out of the line if you get out of the box if you want to move to another area, but it's going to help you get from one space to another. Okay, so that's number two, is to learn how to draw in boxes. Number three, I guess some people will do it this way. I do it this way. But number three is to learn how to make continuous line. So you want to convert your doodles into continuous line, because if you make little shapes, you'll have to stop and start, you'll have to pull the thread again. So you want to make one continuous line all the way through that whole square rectangle that you've drawn. And so the more you can practice by converting your doodle or doing another doodle, you don't have to do the same one over and over again, is to just make it continuous. How do you draw that drawing? How do you make that design? How do you make the geometric design? Just make it flowing. Just make it one continuous line, because then you don't have as many starts and stops you have to make on your machine. Some of these are continuous. This one is not continuous, so maybe you can think about a way to make it a continuous motion. And so maybe instead of stopping and starting, you could just keep going this way and then this way, in a way just to keep going. And you will learn over time how to go around corners and decide what to do and how to move from one space to another. And that's mostly what you want to do. It's going to help you figure out how to get out of corners. Get your continuous design. Move from space to space. It's going to get you in that motion so that once you figure out once you figure out the design, you can just keep going. It's okay if you cross lines, if that's what you want to do. And it'll just help you decide what it is that you like and what works best for you. It's good to keep the design really simple so you can use it in more than one quilt. And it helps you choose your quilting design that works best for you. It's your signature. And however you doodle is perfectly fine. You can have you can have jagged lines. You can have lines that keep changing over time. They don't have to be always the same. You can have whatever it is that works best for you. However you wind up doing it is great. And finally, there's a fourth step on this one, on the doodling, is to get a whole sheet of paper, and it's up to you what size of sheet of paper that you use, and picture that as a quilt. Now I want you to work on density. How much drawing do you want in your quilt? I know that when I was doing my doodling on fabric, I wound up making really teeny tiny designs because that's what I'm used to on paper, because I want to make sure I leave room for notes. But I found that I want to make bigger designs on my fabric because it takes less time to be able to make bigger designs, to have more and having that extra space between the designs helps to keep the quilt all pliable and flexible. So that's something that you want to do, is to figure out for yourself what kind of density that you want on your quilt. And the way you can do that is just take sheets of paper and draw out the designs. Draw out your continuous design over and over again until you find the density that you like. And you can practice with different densities to see which one works best for you. Once you know how to draw it on paper, then it makes it so much easier to do it on fabric, because you're not having to figure all that out while you're trying to quilt. So do it on paper, and that's your lesson for this week. So that's your lesson for this week, is to doodle on paper. Doodle every chance you get, set boundaries, make a continuous line, and find the density you like. My original plan was just to get these videos out to you as quickly as possible, but I think, now that I think about it, I think it'd be better to do it once a week so that you have plenty of time to actually practice the designs. So I'm going to be presenting those to you once a week. I may throw in some other types of videos during the other days of the week as I have the time and the videos available. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all of your support, and I'll see you in the next video.